Good evening. I ask you to grab your seat. I know there's a few people in line, but they'll be in before we get into too heavy of stuff. So a quorum being present, this special town meeting will come to order. The warrant for this special town meeting was signed by the Board of Selectmen on October 25th, 2016. The warrant is posted in the town's official website pursuant to the general bylaws, and the warrant was posted by Constable Heather Surratt on October 25th, 2016. Therefore, I declare that the requirements of Chapter 2, Section 3 of the general bylaw of the town and Chapter 39, Section 10 of the Massachusetts general laws have been satisfied. For this meeting, I have appointed, along with the town clerk, as assistant, the following as tellers for this town meeting. On the left side, Kathleen Shavs, right side, Joanne Upham, and center and front stage, Anthony Morse. All of the above have been sworn in by the town clerk. This meeting will be operated in accordance with the Massachusetts general laws, the town's general bylaws, and by precedent of prior town meetings. While the town bylaws address some of the parliamentary procedures prior to town meetings, have relied upon the volume town meeting time as the standard for conduct at Lakeville town meetings. It is my intention to continue this precedent. You will note that 2 microphones have been positioned in each of the 2 aisles. I ask that if you seek recognition from the moderator, you go to one of the 2 microphones. You must be at a microphone to be recognized by the moderator. When recognized by the moderator, please state your name. If you would like to identify your address, please feel free to do so. If you have a motion, please have it prepared in writing, and after stating your motion, please present it to the moderator so that the clerk will have it as part of the official record of this meeting. Unlike many towns, we have no standard relative to the length of time someone can speak. Generally, this has not been an issue. However, I will exercise my prerogatives to keep the meeting moving if I find that a speaker repeats the same points that he or she has raised. Little about behavior. Shouting from seats, booing and cheering individual speakers cannot be permitted. Any member who interrupts the town meeting in unacceptable ways will be escorted out. Such a member may not return. Do not lose your vote. Please stick to acceptable town meeting behavior. As has been past practice, I will allow the maker of the motion an opportunity to speak on the motion before recognizing anyone else. After the maker of the motion has had an opportunity to speak, I will seek the recommendation of the Finance Committee. Then, any other registered voter may speak on the article in question. When the motion comes to a vote, I will ask that you will hold up the, I think yellow tonight, colored voting cards issued to each registered voter when you arrive this evening and were checked in. During the voting, if I can easily determine the quantum of the vote, I will ask you to lower your cards. However, if there is a counted vote, I will ask that you hold up your voting card and keep it elevated so that the teller can see it and count the votes in your section. The use of the voting card will ensure that only the votes of registered eligible voters are counted. Your voting card has a yes and no printed on it. This is printed in case we have a ballot vote. We may not use it as a ballot, but we have it just in case. Do not lose the voting card. You cannot get another one this evening. A little bit about motions to rescind or reconsider. A motion to reconsider can only be made by one who voted on the prevailing side. A motion to reconsider is acceptable only if new information has come to light that might have caused members to vote otherwise had the information been available earlier. A motion to reconsider is not acceptable simply because many people have left. This is a parliamentary ploy and will not be allowed. A motion to reconsider must pass by a 2/3 vote by Lakeville bylaw. By past town tradition, a motion to reconsider on an article can only be made once. Also like to remind you that no food or drink is permitted in the auditorium. I'd like to remind you that no food or drink is allowed in the auditorium. Maybe the stage is different. Just a few moments, if we could, just to, in memoriam, talk about three members of the town that did a lot. And before we start the special meeting, I'd like to call your attention to these residents who were active in town government and who have passed away since our last town meeting. Mary Gurdon, She was an election officer from 2012 to 2016 and a great friend to the Lakeville Police. Richard A. Dick Fickert, Board of Selectmen from 1973 to 1982, Board of Health from 1985 to 1991, Lakeville Development Corporation from 1985 to 2013, Personnel Board from 1988 to 1991, Lakeville Recycling from 1990 to 1993, Committee for Lakeville Hospital, 1992 to 1998, Park Commissioner from 1991 to 1993, and finally Ted Williams Commissary Renovation Committee from 2008 to 2014. And then finally Alton Harlow Linton, Al Linton, call firefighter from 1951 to 1964, a reserve call firefighter from 1965 to 1974, Park Commissioner from 1964 to 1970, Planning Board from 1968 to 2003, Regional School Committee from 1971 to 1977, and Master Plan Subcommittee from 2003 to 2006. Let us stand while I ask for a moment of silence in their honor and memory. And please remain standing after the moment of silence so we can honor our country by saluting the flag. Let's take a moment. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. I'd like to introduce our members on the stage. To my immediate left is Lillian Drain, Town Clerk, followed by Town Administrator Rita Garbett, Town Council Michelle Randazzo, and then our Board of Selectmen, Chairwoman Mitzi Hollenbeck, Aaron Burke, and John Pardo. And our Finance Committee, Chair Mike Petruzzo, George Lahopoulos, Joseph Fleming, Daniel Holland, and Ryan Trahan. And I'm your Town Moderator, Norman Orrell. Does anyone in the audience require a copy of the town warrant? If you do, put your hand up. I don't see any hands. Okay, now that we all have a copy of the warrant, I would seek a motion to waive the reading of the warrant. And a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries to waive the reading. I would also like to entertain a motion for approval for 2 non-residents in case they need to speak. That would be Miriam Khan. Do I have this right under Town Council? No. Okay. Oh, tough reading there. Jeremy Peck, Superintendent of Streets. So I'd entertain a motion to allow them to speak if called upon as non-residents. A second? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. So with that, I'd entertain a motion for Article 1.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer and/or appropriate from available funds certain sums of money in order to defray unanticipated costs for fiscal year 2017 for various accounts in the general fund, all is set forth in the document entitled Article 1, Special Town Meeting Transfers, November 14th, 2016.
Second.
Thank you. And would you care to speak to this motion?
I would. This article, generally we consider it a housekeeping article to transfer funds from various other funds that we have within the town accounting system to different line items within our budget to balance our budget. What we're doing this year, you have a copy of the transfers, which are on the second page. We are moving a couple things. $50,000 is moving from repairs and maintenance on the town office buildings to a facilities budget for all of our town buildings so that all of them can be done through one line item as opposed to multiple line items with multiple approval. We're moving some funds from new growth and employee benefits for school retirees, things that we don't actually have to partake in any longer with some Modernization Act, with the fact that we don't actually have to pay for retiree benefits for school employees who worked in prior school districts at this point. So that's moving over along with some of our new growth for this year. We're moving those into the building department for clerk wages and the highway department clerk wages. That's part of the building department clerk wages are part of Article 3 that you'll hear a little bit more about later with regard to the Director of Inspectional Services and the employees that we have under one consolidated department. Then we're moving $100,000 from free cash over to the OPEB trust fund. This is so that we can really offset future costs for health insurance benefits for retirees. We're moving $500,000 to our debt service capital project stabilization fund. This is to assist in us later looking at Article 2 and other debt articles that we may have going forward. Article 2 you'll hear about also later tonight. That deals with the police station and the funding for the police station. And then we're also moving $30,000 out of free cash. This is to replace the townhouse roof on the old townhouse, which is moving from free cash over to the town facilities department line item.
And does everyone see that in their handout they got tonight with the warrants? It's a little table showing transfers from and transfers to. Okay, Finance Committee, do you have a recommendation?
We do, Mr. Moderator. We unanimously recommend approval of this article.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on this motion that's been made? Seeing no one rising, this requires a majority vote. I'll ask you to raise your cards and I'll count. So all those in favor of Article 1, please raise your cards. Thank you. You may put them down. All opposed to Article 1, please raise your cards. I see none. I declare it carries unanimously. Thank you. Could I have a motion for Article 2?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $400,000.00 for site evaluation, engineering, and design services for the design, bidding, and construction, including but not limited to schematic design, construction documents, bidding and construction oversight of a new police station and any costs incidental and related thereto, and further to authorize the Board of Selectmen to enter into any agreement and execute all documents, including contracts for a term in excess of 3 years, necessary to effectuate the purpose of this article.
All right, thank you. Do I have a second? Okay, thank you. And would you care to speak to the article?
Yes, this article is necessary to raise funds for the purpose of hiring an architect to design a new police station for the town of Lakeville. We have been working, the Police Station Design Review Committee has been working to put forward a design. To do that, we need an architect. We have hired a owner's project manager for the sake of helping us with that process, which is the first step in really putting together a design for the police station. We appropriated $400,000 at the last town meeting for the sake of getting started on this. We're assuming that we'll need some more money. We don't think we'll need a total of $800,000 for all the design services, but we want to make sure that we have enough money to move the project forward. The idea is that with the design services completed, we'll come back in the spring for the final number with a design that we can show to the town of Lakeville and hopefully get the support from all of you to move forward with that project.
All right, thank you. And Finance Committee, do you have a recommendation?
Mr. Moderator, the Finance Committee again unanimously approves recommending this article.
Thank you. And would anyone else care to speak to this article?
I would like to just correct, we only put in $300,000 apparently. I got a dirty look from Rita, which led me to think that perhaps I was incorrect in my facts, so.
Okay, so-
$300,000 was appropriated last June.
And this motion is to appropriate an additional 400,000.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no one rising, this is another majority vote. Ask you to, if you are in favor of Article 2, please raise your cards. Thank you, you may put them down. Any of those opposed to Article 2, please raise your cards. I declare the motion unanimous. Thank you.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to petition the General Court for special legislation creating a consolidated Department of Inspectional Services and Permitting under the direction of the Director of Inspectional Services and Permitting in substantially the form reflected in the handout available at town meeting, provided, however, that the General Court may make clerical or editorial changes to form only to said bill, unless the Board of Selectmen approves amendments thereto prior to the enactment by the General Court, and provided further that the Board of Selectmen is hereby authorized to approve amendments which shall be within the...
Zeri didn't get that.
Oh, boy. Please silence your cell phones.
Yeah, I need to add that.
I don't know where I left off. And provided further that the Board of Selectmen is hereby authorized to approve amendments which shall be within the scope of the general public objectives of this petition.
Okay. And would you care to speak to this article?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. This article proposes a permanent transition for the Board of Health Department to report to the Director of Inspectional Services, which is the Building Commissioner. They've been operating this way for a while now. I want to say it's 7 or 8 months by vote of the Board of Health. And they voted unanimously to do this on a permanent basis. And this is the legislature, or the proposed legislature, that needs to be enacted for the sake of making that a permanent transition. The thinking was, and the reason why we did this initially was, the Board of Health is a part-time elected board. The chairman, to a large extent, had to act as the department head and run that department. It just didn't make a lot of sense to have somebody who's a volunteer, essentially, running a town department, and it made a lot more sense to have a supervisor that's in the building who's there every day overseeing these employees. So that's really what we're trying to do. It's being done now, but we're just trying to do it on a permanent basis.
All right, thank you. And Finance Committee, do you have a recommendation?
We do, Mr. Moderator. We do recommend approval of this article.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Moderator, may I ask?
Yes.
In addition to the Board of Health, under this reorganization, it also includes a reorganization of the Conservation Commission related to all permitting. That has also been a change that has been enacted for approximately over a year, I believe, at this point in time. And this legislation will also permanently move the Conservation Commission also under the direction, supervision authority, and appointing authority, I believe, under the Director of Inspectional Services. Just the staff.
Okay.
Yeah, just to add, I mean, it was the same thought process with that. It's easier when there's somebody there on a day-to-day basis to manage all of this. The reason why the Director of Inspectional Services is critical to this is because what we envision really is having that be a one-stop shop for the needs of the residents when it comes to permitting. In the good old days, you'd have to go to all of these different departments and try to coordinate your meetings and line it all up. Ideally, what will happen is that one department will facilitate getting hopefully all the approvals through these different aspects of the permitting process.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this article? Do we have the microphone, or?
Hello,
There you go.
can you hear me now? Is there a cost to this? And if so, what is it?
So included in Article 1 is the transfer that we have for the remaining wages for the rest of this year for clerks within that department. We posted a job posting for 2 clerks for the Department of Inspectional Services. It's not necessarily adding 2 new positions per se, but we are appropriating funds for 2 new positions. Again, it's only through the end of the year at this point. So the thought is that also we will be able to have additional staff for this department. It is, you know, as I said, there's 2 positions that have been posted, but it's not necessarily that 2 new positions are being posted. There's some reorganization with some of the current part-time positions that are happening right now. So I would say, related to this article, what is happening is the transfers that have happened in Article 1, which is, I believe, $44,000, which is going into the building department wages right now, coming out of free cash.
That's for the balance of this year. What is the anticipated annual cost for this change, please?
Well, again, there are some part-time positions that are being reconfigured with this as well. So I would say the maximum cost that we would have would be 2 full-time clerks in this department as an addition. I would say probably $90,000 annually if we were adding 2 full-time clerks. It's probably more than, you know, it might be a little bit on the high side for those salaries, but again, there will be some offsets from other positions that are being consolidated into these positions.
I can add to that too. Those hires would have already happened anyway, regardless of whether we made this permanent or not. So that's something to consider. I personally don't believe that that's a direct cost to this move. My answer to your question is it doesn't cost anything.
How can that?
Okay.
What doesn't cost nothing? What costs nothing?
This move doesn't cost anything. In my opinion, those positions were being added regardless of whether this becomes permanent or not.
So in other words, excuse me, in other words, by this change, we're not adding anything to the cost of government in our town.
Correct.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. They were positions that we were looking to fill for other requirements and needs. And again, with the reorganization of certain employees who have retired or left government, we're transferring funds from one line item to another. The actual act of making this permanent is not costing the town anything.
Thank you.
I'll just ask one more time if there's anyone else. I see someone. Not if you don't care to.
Okay. I'm just wondering, is this taking away, like, the building inspector, the plumbing inspector? Are you the Conservation Society? I don't quite understand
No.
what it is that you're actually doing.
All it's doing is consolidating town services. So there's still a building commissioner. He's really going to kind of act as a supervisor for the Board of Health and their employees. So they're still going to do their thing. There's still a Board of Health. They're still going to make decisions relative to enforcing all of those regulations that the DEP and that they have oversight on. It's just the day-to-day operations will be managed by the building department.
Isn't that an awful lot of work for one person? I mean, wasn't this Mr. Darling, right, who's the building
Correct.
inspector? And now you're piling all of these other permits and stuff like that on top of his position already?
That's a matter of opinion. I don't know. I don't think it's too much for him. He does a great job.
Oh, I
And
know.
he's a
I'm
great
not-
manager.
I'm not contending.
No, I know you're not. I'm just saying, I think he's up for the challenge.
I'm just wondering where all these other positions are coming from, and
Well, they're not. I mean, so the plumbing inspector, the electrical inspector, they'll all do their thing. And it's the same thing with the Board of Health inspector. Currently, he operates under Nate, just like those other guys do. But prior to Nate's oversight, that person had to report directly to the chairman of the Board of Health, which meant the chairman of the Board of Health had to go to the town hall every day. And as a part-time elected official, as a volunteer, it really didn't make a whole lot of sense from a management perspective.
And the boards that are doing that, they're okay with this
Yes.
change?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this? Okay, I don't see anyone else. In that case, again, it's a majority vote. All those in favor of Article 3, please raise your cards. Thank you. You may put them down. All opposed to Article 3, please raise your cards. I declare the motion passes unanimously. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, and please turn in your yellow cards on your way out with the check-in, folks. Thank you.